Haunting Whispers, Chronicles of a Cursed Homestead. In the shadows of my childhood home, a sinister past loomed heavy. Prior to my family's arrival, the house bore witness to a multitude of tragic events, deaths, suicides, and even unspeakable murders. The unsettling history was an unwelcome companion to my family's new beginning. My memories of those times are a chilling testament to the spectral legacy embedded within those walls. I was young when my mom met my stepdad, and soon after, we moved into the foreboding house. The scars of its history surfaced gradually, revealing themselves in whispers that echoed through the corridors of our seemingly cursed abode. The recent occupants, scarred by the tragic loss of their son, had vacated the premises, leaving us with the heavy burden of the house's tormented past. The two-bedroom dwelling forced my baby sister, whom we'll call B, and me to share a room. B, an incessant crier, became the focal point of strange occurrences that defied explanation. One haunting night, as her cries pierced the silence, I witnessed a shadowy figure hovering over her crib. It moved with an unsettling slowness, an ethereal presence that sent shivers down my spine. Terrified, I sought refuge under my covers until sleep claimed me, dismissing the encounter as a mere figment of my imagination. The spectral visits persisted, always centered around B's crib. My complaints fell on deaf ears, as my parents dismissed my accounts as the product of an overactive imagination. Desperation led me to abandon our shared room, seeking solace in my parents' quarters while my stepdad assumed the eerie mantle of my former sleeping space. Yet, the supernatural occurrences refused to be confined. As the strange events unfolded, my stepdad succumbed to the darkness of depression, a heavy cloud that cast its pall over our already troubled home. His abrupt job loss marked the beginning of a harrowing descent into despair. I witnessed a spectral figure linger behind him, a malevolent silhouette that mirrored the anguish festering within our home. Attempts to share my chilling experiences with my parents were met with disbelief and apathy. The unseen presence continued its haunting, alternating its focus between B and my stepdad. Nights brought not only the shadowy figure but also the haunting voice of a woman emanating from B's crib. The words were incomprehensible, yet the ethereal whispers fueled my growing fear. As B matured, her interactions with an unseen friend escalated. My parents, dismissing it as a mere imaginary companion, failed to recognize the malevolent force lingering within our home. The emotional turmoil intensified, my sister became detached, my mom harbored unbridled anger, my stepdad's depression deepened, and I felt an isolating solitude. The once harmonious family dynamic disintegrated into nightly confrontations between my parents, their arguments escalating to alarming heights. The echoes of their screams reverberated through the house, creating a discordant symphony of misery. I overheard my stepdad imploring my mom to put the knife down, a chilling tableau of domestic despair that haunted my nights. One evening, I stayed up watching TV, and as the clock neared 8, I ascended the stairs to my room. At the threshold, whispers reached my ears, mingling with B's responses. A cracked door revealed a chilling scene, B conversing with a shadowy figure, as if led by an unseen force. My scream prompted the door to slam shut, leaving me trembling in the corridor until my mom intervened. B, found in the corner of the room, seemed oblivious to the ordeal, her innocence untouched by the sinister force that had guided her. The aftermath plunged our household into an even deeper despair. Silence enveloped our once lively abode, and the weight of unspoken sorrow settled upon our shoulders. In the throes of depression, my family disintegrated. Communication ceased, and I assumed the role of caretaker for my sister, sharing an eerie connection with the malevolent force. It became a familiar presence, offering a twisted comfort in moments of profound sadness. Eventually, my mom reached a breaking point, leading us to seek refuge with my grandparents. As we left, I saw the shadowy figure by my stepdad, a poignant reminder of the haunting legacy left behind. The heavy sadness of departure was tinged with relief, knowing that my stepdad, for all his troubles, wouldn't truly be alone in that spectral house. Whispers in the Night, Unveiling the Haunting Mystery. A tale of the supernatural still haunts my nights, an eerie experience from a September evening that refuses to release its grip on my memory. Last year, I sought refuge at my grandparents' house for the night, a decision I would later come to regret. The day unfolded normally enough, a hearty dinner, nostalgic glances at old photographs, and the warmth of family. Little did I know, the night held a sinister secret within the walls of that familiar home. As the clock struck bedtime, I retired to the guest bedroom, a space that once served as my own during our shared living arrangements. I settled in, playing some soothing music on my laptop, trying to create a cocoon of comfort. The room had witnessed its fair share of paranormal whispers during our previous residency, yet none had been as disturbing as the events that unfolded that night. In the quiet hours of the morning, I awoke with a jolt, the remnants of sleep still clinging to my consciousness. It was an unusual fatigue that gripped me, a stark departure from the usual wakefulness that accompanied my nocturnal stirrings. The room, shrouded in darkness, offered no solace as I squinted towards the short hallway leading to the entrance door, concealed from my view by an odd room layout. With half-opened eyes, I saw nothing. Dismissing the unease, I closed my eyes, attempting to surrender once more to the embrace of sleep. It was then that a sinister sound disrupted the silence, the distinct creak of my bedroom door closing. Panic surged through me as I stared into the inky abyss of the hallway. The door, once shut, now stood ajar. I locked eyes with the void, frozen in terror. Summoning courage, I approached the door, finding emptiness on the other side. The unnerving realization crept over me, someone, or something, had opened the door. Rationalizing it as a possible intrusion by my grandparents, I locked the door once more and retreated to the safety of my bed. Yet, the tranquility was short-lived. Abruptly, heavy footsteps echoed outside my door, a thunderous approach that ceased abruptly at the threshold. Paralyzed, I waited, heart pounding in my chest. The door slammed shut once again, a forceful reminder that I was not alone. Panic set in, and I spent the remainder of the night perched on the edge of my bed, a silent sentinel in my own haunted sanctuary. Morning brought a facade of normalcy, and I left without disclosing the nocturnal horrors to my grandparents. Months passed, and the haunting specter returned, this time in a friend's home. As I lay on the floor, the soft closure of a door echoed in the silence. Alarmed, I questioned my friend, who slept soundly, oblivious to the unseen forces at play. Since that night, the door has remained silent, its ghostly echoes confined to the recesses of my memory. The significance of the closed door eludes me, and the fear of the unknown still lingers. I am haunted by the feeling of being watched, an unrelenting gaze that persists into my sleepless nights. The mystery remains unsolved, and I continue to lay awake, tormented by the possibility that something horrifying might awaken me from the shadows. Whispers in the Night, Chronicles of a Desolate Apartment. Last summer, I moved into a dilapidated apartment building, driven by the constraints of a low-paying job. The two-bedroom unit seemed my only refuge, despite its evident neglect. Mold festered in corners, and the building itself exuded an aura of disrepair. Yet, the most unsettling aspect wasn't the decaying walls but the unnerving absence of neighbors. In stark contrast to my prior experiences in bustling apartment complexes, this small building harbored an eerie quietness. Out of the 8 rooms, only mine and an older couple's on the first floor were occupied. The second and third floors lay vacant, yet they reverberated with unseen whispers. Despite the solitude, I frequently heard murmurs below my third-floor abode, a disconcerting chorus that should have emanated solely from the elderly couple residing beneath. The unsettling whispers, predominantly a woman's voice, echoed with a strange clarity, defying the distance of 2 stories. At first, I dismissed it as a mere auditory illusion, perhaps a shared ventilation system. However, the inexplicable solitude persisted, amplifying my discomfort. 2 months into my solitary existence, an incident unfolded that heightened my unease. While ascending the creaky stairs, I noticed an open door on the second floor, a room that should have remained vacant. Intrigued, I approached, peering into the darkness. A foreboding sensation compelled me to retreat to my own sanctum, yet when I descended later that night, the door stood closed. Puzzled but hesitant to delve into the mystery, I attributed it to building maintenance. That night, an unsettling revelation disrupted my fragile peace. While taking out the trash, I noticed the closed door once more. An unspoken disquiet lingered in the corridors, and my attempt to rationalize the inexplicable grew futile. As the weeks unfolded, the nocturnal disturbances intensified. Awakened in the middle of the night, I strained to hear the woman's indistinct mutterings below. Curiosity morphed into fear, especially after the peculiar incident with the closed door. The whispering seemed too close for comfort, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something unnatural was transpiring beneath me. One ominous night, the mysterious woman's muted whispers transformed into slow, purposeful footsteps. Her erratic pacing below my room sent shivers down my spine. Suddenly, the sound ceased, plunging me into an unnerving silence. Struggling with trepidation, I remained vigilant in bed, my senses attuned to the unknown. 30 minutes passed, each second weighted with a growing dread. The floor creaked again, but this time, it echoed from above. Soft footsteps traversed the floor overhead, stopping directly above my bed. The chilling silence that followed was shattered by a single, piercing scream, a haunting wail that reverberated through the walls, seemingly inches from my face. The room fell back into silence, leaving me paralyzed with fear. Terrified, I clutched my head, teetering on the edge of complete panic. The night wore on, and I stayed wide awake until dawn, grappling with the inexplicable horrors that unfolded within those walls. With the first light, I hastily made arrangements to leave, paying whatever fee necessary to sever my ties with that ominous abode. Upon returning for my belongings, the old couple bid me farewell, their expressions oddly sorrowful. Our brief exchange revealed nothing of their experiences, but I couldn't shake the dissonance between the old lady's distinct accent and the mysterious woman's whispers. Relieved to be leaving, I departed, haunted by the fear that those unsettling murmurs might resurface in the silence of another night.